manufacturing base, which means you genuinely add value. You haven't simply offshored manufacturing to let someone else do all the work while simply bringing in the money. America and Britain, for instance, have offshored almost everything. Sweden has not. So you have a strong export economy, which has really brought a lot of wealth to your country. However, I'll try and do it in 5 minutes, but that will be hard. So, but you have a very high debt to GDP at 350%. You have an enormous housing bubble. Your export economy will be very vulnerable when nobody can afford to buy your products. And you have a currency risk, because if the euro starts to fall, then your currency will likely appreciate, it will go up. That makes your exports more expensive at a time when people have less money in the first place to buy them. You have experience of a banking crisis without a bailout. However, that only cost you 4% of GDP in the early 1990s. And you were able to finance that through the export boom that you were able to sell into. So when people talk about using the Swedish model more broadly, unfortunately that isn't actually going to work. I'm trying to speed up. I don't think I can do it in 5 minutes, but I will try. So this is simply a look at the size of the breakdown of the Swedish debt bubble. If you would like more detail on this, this comes from a Swedish language blog called Cornucopia. I would strongly suggest that you watch what he puts up on his site. There's a lot of really good information there. The point to take away from this is that government debt at the bottom is really not your problem. Your government debt is only half the EU average. It's the private debt that has been rising very sharply. So you have one of the worst housing bubbles in the world, for instance. And to put that in perspective, this also comes from Cornucopia. These bubbles here are the largest in the world, and you are not much smaller than that. So asset prices have a very, very long way to fall in Sweden, and the consequences for private debt are going to be very, very significant. A very large fall, and at the same time, interest rates going up, taxes going up, the ability to service debt going down. So to briefly go over the effect